Good Housekeeping does something really wonderful. They get viewers' inventions that apply to your daily life, the little frustrations you have, or a measuring cup that you can read from the top.
Yes,
from the top instead of that.
My wife saw that in the paper, and I've been trying to find that measuring cup. So, Ellen, save me one if you would over there. I do want to have that.
This is the story of my measuring cup and how it became OXO's angled measuring cup. The story begins with, you might say, a piece of Christmas fudge. Over a period of time, I thought, well, you know, it'd be nice to try to come up with my own recipe, repeating the process of putting sugar in the cup and measuring out milk and the various different ingredients. It became rather irritating and bothersome to have to sit there and stoop down and try to measure to see whether or not the ingredients would always come to the right spot. Either way, it involved a lot of remeasuring. It gets old after a while, and you had to think, well, you know, there's got to be a better way, and there's got to be a lot of other people that have to deal with this issue. Maybe this idea would be good if you could read the ingredients from above without having to stoop over. It's like, well, how could you do something like that? What if you had a surface like a ruler and you fill it up with water, and sure enough, it seemed to work perfectly fine. Well, the problem is that you can't have a cup with a ruler like this. It looks too well as far as a product. How could something like this be made into a product and still look good? I came up with a couple different ideas. One was to have like a spiral surface in the wall of the cup. Another one was to have like a ramp surface on either side of the cup. Luckily, I have a cousin who had started a toy design company several years prior. I called him up and he said, yeah, he would help out. I ended up making the very first tool, which was made out of plaster of Paris. As you can see, there has the spiral surfaces here that would kind of simulate where you would have the readings. Take this shape, you put it down on a table that has a vacuum, and you heat up a sheet of plastic and put it over the top of this, and it sucks down and takes the shape of it. It's called vacuum forming. You're able to make a really crude prototype that has the spiral surface on the inside. And so you took this here, put it down, filled it up with water, and sure enough, you could easily see the difference between where the water stopped and where the air started. So it looked very promising as far as making a product. After looking, you know, at the spiral shape and looking straight down like this, it seemed like, well, let's try out the other idea as far as a slanted surface. So we made another somewhat crude prototype out of PVC pipe and some cardboard, and formed a cup that had ramp surface in there, and it was much easier to see where the indicia would be. My cousin happened to be at a toy fair in New York City, and as luck would have it, he came across the representative from OXO. And he asked him, you know, are you interested in working with inventors? And they said yes. And we decided, okay, let's make a better looking prototype. We ended up with making a prototype that looked like this. I took painstakingly time to make all the little indicia on here with the numbers and everything all backwards, so that when you form the plastic it would show up the right way. So what we end up doing is making two prototypes off of this tool, and that was sent off to OXO, as luck would have it. As the person we sent it to was opening the box, I believe it was the president of the company or someone that was in a management position, happened to be walking by as they opened it up, and they saw it and they liked it, and they seemed interested in developing the product further. It was like, okay, maybe we need to go and apply for a patent for the cup. At that point in time, it was pretty much a waiting game, waiting on the patent office and waiting to hear back from OXO. During that time frame, OXO sent it out. They have a design firm that they work with, and they use that to kind of refine the design. And eventually, it might have been, say, a year and a half or so, the patent office came back and indicated that there was some allowable material. During the waiting game, it involved a lot of prayers, a lot of help from God to make sure that everything stayed on the right track. Eventually, after maybe 3 years or so, we got a patent issued on it. Also, about the same time, OXO launched the actual product itself. And here's the 2-cup version. Doesn't look entirely that much different from the original prototype. The main difference is it's out of a clear material. You have the indicia on the inside, which is very similar to the prototype, plus the indicia on the outside for those who, I guess, just can't quite cross over to the new way of measuring. Had a big launch. It actually went very well. The cup received the Good Buy Awards. Apparently, there's a lot of products that are submitted for this, but only a very few actually get awarded. The cup was on Good Morning America.
And every year they receive thousands of new products at Good Housekeeping, new inventions, searching for the seal of approval. Why not find some special way to recognize the really extraordinary ideas, the one that make you say, basically, why didn't I think of that? These are the measuring cups that you can see from on top.
Right. This has Charlie's name on it. They come in 2 sizes, so instead of holding your cup up and then pouring up here, you actually look down into the cup and it will say 1 cup or 1/4 of a cup, and you know exactly what you're measuring. Plus it has this long handle so it doesn't tilt over and spill.
And it was kind of surreal watching your idea unfold on national TV. It was a very exciting point in time, as well as seeing the product on the shelf in all the stores. The cup received many types of awards. It was a very joyful experience, but then, you know, after a period of time, the cup seemed to take on a life of its own. You soon realize that the inventor is kind of left off to the side. The award is going to the cup and maybe some, you know, other people who are not, you know, directly involved with the inventor. So from that point of view, it's a little on the frustrating side. But all in all, I have to be thankful to God and, you know, all the prayers and everything that it took to get to this point. The cup continues to be a very successful product to this day.